Fair Start Act, or FSA properties, are all over the map. Chances are you've seen one or two of them around the metaverse as well. FSA properties are one of the best opportunities available in Upland, but if you're new, you likely aren't maybe even sure what they are to begin with, let alone how to use them most effectively. Hey everyone, John Henry here, SSFTG. I hope this video finds you deep in profits with overflowing pockets. In this one, I'm going to cover what FSA properties are and how you can use them to your advantage. Make sure to watch to the end for one of my best FSA tips, and you do not want to miss it. Before we kick things off, smack the like button and subscribe to the channel to make sure that you don't miss any content, and, of course, it helps pump up the YouTube algorithms too. FSA properties are properties that have been put in place to ensure that new players have a fair shot at joining, growing, and thriving in Upland. Anyone with a net worth below 100,000 UPIX are able to mint FSA properties. But if your net worth exceeds 100,000 UPIX, you will no longer be able to. FSA properties can be found in every city and every location of the metaverse, and depending on the city tier, will have more or less FSA properties allocated. Los Angeles, as an example, is a 1-1-1 tier city, which means that it comes with an FSA allocation of 13%, roughly. This can be good to know ahead of new city launches so you aren't surprised by how many things end up launching as FSA or not. The great thing about FSA properties is really super simple. They offer sometimes, not always, but some decent discounted prices in some areas to give one of the lowest bars of entry to the game, and since less people can buy them, they tend to stick around for longer for you to mint even after the rest of a city may have sold out. Remember, you can only mint FSA properties if your net worth is less than 100K. FSA properties are amazing, but they do have a few setbacks to the, mainly prevent users abusing the great pricing and all of the things that FSA properties bring to the table, like availability in otherwise sold out cities. The big one is that you can only sell 2 FSA properties per week, but once an FSA property is bought, sold, or traded, it loses its FSA status, so it at least gets easier via secondary markets. I know I've said it 100 times already, but the key to remember here is that you can't buy FSA properties if your net worth exceeds 100,000 UPIX. You can easily check your net worth simply by clicking on your BE's picture in the top left. If that shows less than 100,000, then you're good to go. Now, just so that we're on the same page, net worth is found by the combined values of your property values and your UPIX on hand. And of course, it should go without saying, but it is in the terms of service, and I'll point it out here since it's in the topic that we're talking about. Artificially manipulating your UPIX balance to stay under 100,000 to buy FSA properties is against the TOS. It will get you banned. Don't do it. Okay, don't do silly things. One of my favorite ways to level up using FSA properties is the new city flip. Obviously. Not only are new cities literal profit playgrounds if you use them properly, they are one of, if not the best way to level up to pro or higher in literally minutes. The concept is simple, but difficult to execute because new cities bring heavy competition. You wait for a new city to launch, specifically targeting areas on the map that are dense in FSA properties so that you have a good shot. Once someone mints the first property near your FSA group, you send to the closest property that you're able to. You may have seen me doing some of this in the video of me minting during the LA stress test on the 26th. Make sure to watch that if you haven't yet. I'll link it in the corner. After your Explorer lands, you effectively just buy FSA property that you can afford, and you flip it for, you flip it on the market. And the goal is to flip it for just under the floor price. Now, if you're not sure what the floor price is, all you have to do is zoom out a little bit here and then hit this little building icon, and that will tell you how much everything costs in the vicinity. Now, as an example, this is a day or two after the LA launch, so things have calmed down a little bit and the hype isn't as crazy. But just in this viewport, the lowest price we have is $9,300. If we zoom in a little bit closer and look at some of these FSA properties, we can see, as an example, this one is $4,840. So immediately, if I wanted to go into this area and buy a handful of FSA properties, these are under $5, so it's $48.40. Although there is a little bit of a fee when you purchase it or mint an FSA property, but you get the idea. Being able to purchase it at $4,800 and sell it at $9,000 is a pretty good way to build your account really rapidly. And if you're able to do this during incredibly high volatility times where there's a lot more hype, the floor price goes wildly out of control. Most floor prices on new zones, like straight out of stress tests, start out at like 25 to 30,000 UPIX and can go absolutely crazy, all the way up to, as an example, the floor in Los Angeles before the southern portion launched was 15,000, and it went all the way up to nearly 50,000. That means that if you were able to mint an FSA property for, say, 4,000 or 5,000, you could flip it for 20,000, selling it under the floor price to get it gone quick. It would only take 2 or 3 good flips, and all of a sudden, you are in the pro status with a net worth of over 100K. There is an important caveat here in that visitors to Upland who have a net worth less than 10K will have to renew their visa every 7 days, which basically means that you have to log in once a week. If you fail to do that, though, your account and UPIX and properties will be recycled back into the community pool, and that is a huge bummer. You don't want that to happen. Once you reach 10,000 UPIX or more, you can activate Uplander status, which is a permanent account status update. In Upland, there are a bunch of player status levels. Here they all are, so you can read through them if you'd like. But one of the important things to realize here is that once you reach 10,000 UPIX or more, and you activate your Uplander status, and again, that is a permanent account update, it means that your account will no longer get recycled and is linked to the EOS blockchain. At this point, you truly own all of your NFTs. Being an Uplander, at least, also means that you can sell your properties. So if you want to buy and flip, you need to first make sure that your net worth is at least above 10,000 UPIX. I hope this helps you understand a bit better what FSA properties are and how they work. Along with that, some strategies to implement with them to get the most bang for your buck, so to speak. If you aren't in Upland yet bagging those FSA properties and flipping them into massive stacks, click the referral link in the description. It gets you in Upland and going with some starter UPIX, and if you decide to invest some cash into the game, you also get a massive 50% UPIX bonus on your first purchase, up to 50,000 UPIX. Basically, if you buy 100,000 UPIX, $100, you'd actually get 150,000 UPIX, or $150. Be careful though, because you only get this bonus if you use the link to register with Upland. You definitely do not want to miss out on easy UPIX by missing a link. If you have any questions, comments, or topics for future videos, drop them in the comments below. I always love hearing from you all. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, we'll see you in the metaverse.